Into this Judge Mabline, man. Let's go.
Lynn McGee is suing Kevin Vernon in the amount of $789.98. Ms. McGee claims Mr. Vernon is responsible for her tree dying, and she wants him to pay for it to be removed. Mr. Vernon claims he's not responsible for the plaintiff's tree, and he claims he warned Ms. McGee there would be construction.
In the matter of Lynn McGee versus Kevin Vernon, suing him for $789.98, the cost you incurred to have a tree removed from your yard, but you blame Mr. Vernon for having to do that. Explain that to me.
Yes, Your Honor. My neighbor here about a year ago came to me to explain that he wanted to install a swimming pool in his backyard. And, you know, I had absolutely no problem with that. I was happy for him, and I actually saw the opportunity for myself to join in the fun. And, but unfortunately, you know, fast forward to 5 months ago, I was in my backyard with my dog Fluffy, and just enjoying the sun, and all of a sudden I see Fluffy chewing on something, and when I looked, she was chewing on a mushroom. This was a mushroom that was actually growing on the tree that I had in my backyard, my oak tree.
A toadstool, Your Honor.
A what?
A toadstool.
Toadstool?
Yeah, it grows off the tree, bark about this, not edible.
Okay.
I looked around and found it growing on the tree on the right side of my oak tree, which is the side where my neighbor's swimming pool has been installed.
What type of tree was it?
It's an oak tree. And
Okay.
that tree is about 30 years old. It was already there when I moved in about 20 years ago. A tree, when something is wrong with a tree, you know, that can cause a lot of damage.
Right.
It's quite dangerous. So I did some research on the internet, and a lot of the articles mentioned that if you find mushroom at the base of a tree, that can be an indication of a serious problem with the roots or the trunk itself. So I was really, you know, quite worried about that. And then some of the articles also mentioned dead wood. So at first.
Yeah, I had to pause to say this. She look good as shit too, bruh. We might gotta keep on going with these Judge Mablines, bruh, because you know what I'm saying. The plaintiffs have been deliciously delectable.
First, I did not notice any of that, so I went back outside. I looked around, and sure enough, there was dead wood scattered all over that had fallen from the oak tree. What I had to do, since I know nothing about trees, I had to hire an arborist, and she came in, and actually, you have a copy of her report.
I don't have anything yet.
She is
you haven't submitted it to me.
She unfortunately could not be here today because she had a family emergency. But there you have a certified statement that, you know, of her findings when she came in and did her investigations. She actually used GPR, which is a ground penetrating radar, to image the roots, and found that the majority of the feeder roots had been damaged. And that is really important because the feeder roots absorb minerals and water, and that impacts the way the tree feeds itself. So that's why we're here today. I mean, we've got a tree that the arborists say is decaying or was decaying and had to be
But the roots were over in his yard.
Yeah, it spreads out.
Coming up.
How is he responsible for your roots growing in his yard that he has no knowledge of? What is he supposed to do?
Justice with Judge Mabline. You're watching Justice with Judge Mabline. We're back with the case of Lynn McGee, who is suing Kevin Vernon for property damage.
So now, how is he responsible for your roots growing in his yard that he has no knowledge of? What is he supposed to do?
Well, of course he has no knowledge, just like I don't have any knowledge of that.
Right, so he had no knowledge that your tree roots, that's your tree, were in his yard. So technically he could have just removed all those roots out of his yard. And he doesn't even know, how does he know that the roots that's in his yard is from your tree as opposed to an old tree that may have been in that yard before he bought the property, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, or 40 years ago. How is he to know that these were your tree roots?
I understand, Your Honor. I mean,
Right.
I know
She's
that
spitting.
he doesn't know, but I don't know either.
That's my point. So how is he
neither of us
responsible
know.
then?
But the thing is, the fact is there was a dead tree that had to be removed, and I
The
think
fact
that
is, the dead tree that had to be removed was your dead tree. The fact is that this man did everything on his property that he had a right to do. Even if he had seen the roots, his contractor could have removed them without saying anything to you, because that's in his yard. And he can take up anything he wants in his yard. And if it negatively impacts your yard, he's not responsible for that, because those roots are your tree in his yard. Now, he could have sued you saying your roots damaged his yard. Then what?
Judge Mabline's verdict when Justice with Judge Mabline returns. You're watching Justice with Judge.
I could tell y'all the verdict already, you know what I'm saying? She clearly don't like my sexy little Asian persuasion, so she gonna go with Big Sloppy on the left. Come on,
Judge
bro.
Mabline.
I see
You have
this.
to prove that someone is at fault to bring them to court and ask them to pay you money. It's neither of your fault. Therefore, judgment for the defendant.
Told y'all.
Judge Mabline
Come
has
on.
ruled in favor of the
knew
defendant.
it.
The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I'm going to chalk this up to being an honest mistake, and I hope we can go back to being good neighbors.
Yeah, I'm sorry I came to this, and you're welcome to use the pool.
By the way, we can be good neighbors, all right. That wasn't bad. I like Judge Mabline, man. That was pretty cool. We got some beautiful plaintiffs. You know what I'm saying? We got some decent cases.